Let's make a cobbler.
Let's make a cobbler. Around.
Oh, well incorporated.
Yes, and while she's doing that, we'll prepare the next step.
Yes. Why don't you explain that next step while I continue stirring, Mr. Teacher?
Oh, that would indeed be an act of coordination and cooperation. We have here a box, actually 2 boxes of Jiffy golden yellow cake mix. They're 9-ounce boxes, and you could use a 15-ounce box of regular cake mix. I find this works particularly well in a Dutch oven. My preference, I've done Duncan Hines and some other brand. They were okay, but they were not the same. Now, we have here, we have this leveled out, the fruit that is, and we are ready to put the cake mix in. Now what we've done is that we're using a sieve, not because we're afraid of anything being in the cake mix, but because the cake mix had been compacted on the shelf and everything, and there has a tendency to be lumps in it, small lumps. And so this is an effort to work out the lumps. And while it's also a method of evenly distributing the cake mix over the top.
Shall you stir and I shall...
Yeah, you can, why don't you put that in the sieve? Now, I'm not going to stir. The cake mix sits on top of the fruit. We do not stir.
Very good, very good.
Now what will happen here is that as the cake cooks or bakes, the juice, which is below everything, will start to boil and percolate up through the cake mix. And the cake mix, in turn, will actually bake. It's magic. It's magic. You have no need for egg. You have no need for anything else that it talks about on the back side here. This works. We'll go and add the second box here. And then once you get down and got all the fine stuff out, and you got these little bumps, we can take a spoon and put those, smash them and put them down here. And this looks for a very nice, very even
distribution.
Distribution. That's our word to get right for the day, boys and girls. Distribution. While she's finishing that up, let me explain what we're doing here. We have Land of Lakes unsalted sweet butter. My preference for this particular dish. You use anything you want, spread, margarine, whatever. It will affect the taste a little bit, and of course a lot of this stuff is to the taste of the cook. And if you get a cook that has the same taste you do, then you got it made. So I'm going to take a knife and start slicing the butter. We only need 1 stick of butter, and we take thin slices of the butter and put it over the top of the cake mix.
And what I'm doing now is taking those little lumps of cake mix that haven't quite been broken down yet, and I'm just smashing them against the sift here, the sifter, to get them nice and broken up into an even powder on top of our fruit. So now we've got all of our cake mixes on the fruit.
And that, and let's, I do have one little bump here. Let's take this and kind of spread that out a little bit more even. I almost hate to bother with it, but there's a little hump in the middle, and we want to make sure that as much as possible we have an even amount.
Even coating. So if you do get that lump in the middle.
An even layer. I'm going to put this back over here so that we're back centered on the above camera.
Alrighty, how's that look, Mr.
That
Teacher?
is just scrumptious. So what I'm doing here is I'm slicing thin slices of this unsalted sweet butter. Unfortunately, Aunt Girl had reminded me to wash my hands ahead before I did this.
Good job.
It's an option, and I would recommend no more than one stick.
Yeah.
I find that it's just enough. And I wanted the sweetness, but I didn't want the sodium. I did not want a salty flavor introduced into this. So I find that this particular butter, unsalted sweet, does favorably interact with everything else, and it just gives that little something. But you can try it with margarine. I've tried it with spray butter and a couple other things, and it's not bad. This is my preference.
But, you know, butter. You can never have too much butter.
That's true, and this is real butter. The more healthy among you may substitute margarine.
Margarine, it's not necessarily more healthy. It's just a different kind of.
Again, that's true. Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Except Cobbler.
Except Cobbler. As much as you want.
That's right, particularly on Cobbler Day.
Particularly on Cobbler Day.
And these butter slabs are just a little bit thicker than what I generally do, but it'll all melt.
It will melt and even out.
Yes.
And we're just spreading the butter chunks evenly over the top of the cake.
Yes.
So you get more of an even coverage once the butter begins to melt.
So this looks
good.
Ready to go into the oven. So we've preheated that oven, 375 degrees. Do we have mitts or?
Why, yes we do, Mr. Teacher.
Nice video of us circling around each other.
I will open up the oven and Mr. Teacher will place the pan inside.
Yes. Now, I have our time is at 2:01, which is not too bad. We are going to leave this in here for approximately between 30 and 35 minutes, in which case we will check it out, It will not be quite done. It'll take somewhere between 40 and 45 minutes to cook, but 30-minute mark or 35-minute mark is very important because it doesn't take very much to get from almost done to a little burnt.
Yes.
So we want to hit that sweet spot, so to speak.
Yes, we do.
So 2:01, so at 2:30, somewhere between 2:31 and 2:36, we will pull this out and resume taping and see what our cake looks like at that point.
And in between that time, we're gonna clean up.
Yay!